I'm going to quickly talk about exterior measures of polygons. Someone asked me a question, and even though I do have videos about this topic, I thought I'd go over this very quickly. When we have an angle that's open larger than 90 degrees, it's obtuse. And if it's smaller than 90 degrees, it's acute. And this point right here is the vertex. And when we have an extension of this line here, so that this obtuse angle and this acute angle are added together, we would get a supplementary angles of 180 degrees. So when we have a straight line, we can look at it as an angle that's very open as 180 degrees, see? Here we've got this acute angle, and we've extended the line, and that created this obtuse angle. When you add these two measures together, it should total 180 degrees because it's supplementary. Now, they're called complementary when they create a 90-degree angle, a right angle. So no matter where this line is and how it splits it up, it's going to have an acute angle and an acute angle, and when you total up their measures, it'll equal 90 degrees for it to be a complementary set of angles, okay? So what we can do is we can take a triangle, and by extending the lines that form the triangle, we bring this line out, we bring that line out. See how I extended the lines? We can find the exterior measures. Now, we know by now that all triangles have interior angles that total 180 degrees. So if it's an equilateral triangle, it's going to be 60, 60, and 60 for the interior angles. By extending these lines, what happens is we create adjacent angles and vertical angles. And adjacent angles are next to each other. So this 45 and that 135 would make adjacent angles. And actually my line should be a little bit straighter. My line isn't perfect. And vertical angles are opposite of each other. This 135 and this 135, these are vertical angles. And they're made when two lines intersect. See, this line is crossing that line. And they're equal, they're congruent. So by extending the lines, I can see these adjacent angles. So we can look at this one right here. This 60, if this was a missing measure, we would know that this obtuse angle would have to be 120. And if that's 120, that's 120. See? By extending the lines, we know if that's 60, then its vertical angle is 60. And we know that this line right here, for this to be 60, that would have to be a 120 to create this straight angle. See? And that would have to equal 180. So if that's 60, that's 120. So even if we have an odd-shaped triangle, we can do it if we know the interior measures. Even if we only know two interior measures. If we only knew this measure and this measure, if all triangles have interior angles that are 180 degrees, we could total these up and subtract it from 180 to know that that one's 45 degrees inside. We extend our lines. If that's 45 degrees, well, then the vertical angle out here is 45 degrees. And if this is 45 degrees and this is 45 degrees, what's missing from 180 for it to be straight? So for this right here to be straight, this one would have to be 180, and this one would have to be 180. See? If that's 60 and that's 60, well then that's got to be 120 and that's got to be 120. If that's 75, then that means that's 75. See? Because it's its vertical angle. And what would make this part 180? It needs 105. See? Now, all pentagons have interior angles that are 540 degrees. But a regular pentagon has 5 sides of the same length. See, it says regular. So if you have a regular polygon, like a regular octagon, that means all 8 sides of the octagon have the same length. On a pentagon, a regular pentagon, all the interior angles are going to be 108 degrees. So this one's not a regular pentagon. But we knew the interior angles, and even if one of them was missing, we'd be able to add up the other ones and find out what's missing from 540. So we'd say, oh, the missing one must be an 80. Well, its vertical angle up here must be 80. That means that must be 100 in order for this to be 180. That's got to be 180. That's got to be 180. That's got to be 180. See how we're doing that? And if this one's 105, then this vertical one is 105, which means this has to be 180, that has to be 180, these have to be 180, and these have to be 180. So you can just kind of go around and make the straight line for the supplementary angle, see, to get the 180. If that's 125, then that's got to be 125. That's its vertical angle. And the adjacent one has to help it equal 180. All right? So, I hope that cleared up any confusion. And let me know if this helped you. And I'll see you next time. And I'll put some helpful video links in the description. All right? Bye.